Welcome to the Four Bells, and we are here doing workout from home 61.
Another one.
Another one, as DJ Khaled would say. That's cameraman there. So today we have got an upper body focus for you guys. We're going to be doing some rows of some kind, and we're going to be doing some dips of some kind. But to get us ready for that today, we are going to be doing some Turkish Get-up practice. That means 5 minutes, 300 seconds of fun, where I'm going to be doing a rep on one side, ideally my second strongest or my weaker side, and then the next rep should be on my strongest side. The idea today is to get creative. Of course, you can do things in a regular, normal person kind of way. If you've got heavier weights, blah, blah, blah. But if you feel like getting creative, what you can try and do is do what we had some of our members do recently, which is find the weirdest object to do a Turkish Get-up with. Off the top of my head, the ones that stand out most is we had one of our members using a full drum kit, insane, and another member who used their cat. The cat only allowed one rep, but it was worth seeing. So, animal cruelty aside, let's talk about how Turkish Get-ups should look today. The Turkish Get-up, one of my favourite movements, but it is always a polarizer in the gym. Some people love them, some people hate them. But whether you love them or hate them, we're doing them in the warm-up today. And the reason why we're using them is for threefold reason. Number one, a great warming up the shoulders, pretty much all of the stabilizers of the shoulder. And apart from shoulder extension, we're moving the shoulder through pretty much every single range of motion. From there, we get to work on the transverse abdominals, the deep abdominal wall that stabilize the spine as we move through space. And the last one is mobilizing the hips. So we never need less of those three things. We don't need less stable shoulders, weaker abs, tighter hips. We always need more of those. So there's 6 steps that go from the floor to standing, and there's a lot of nuances, but we're not going to go into all those today. So hopefully you've got some experience with the Turkish Get-up. Ideally, if I'm laying down, I'm going to pick a support side, which means this side is pointing to the ceiling, is going to be supporting a weight of some kind. This leg is going to be bent to about 90 degrees. My other arm and leg are out to 45. I'm going to roll up onto my right elbow. From there, I come up onto my right hand, left hip to the ceiling, right leg squeaks through. I come up into a lunge position, making sure that both of those legs are on train tracks. We drive up, bring the feet together, and then we reverse it on the way down. Leg comes back. We pivot the leg in as the hand comes down. We kick the leg through, bum down, elbow down, and lay down. And that's half a rep, because we've got to do it on both sides for it to count. So, just like in your house, it's the apocalypse here too. And if you want to get creative, we're going to try and do this with some paper towel. Would it be right to do the apocalypse without some paper towel from Costco? Let's see if I can do it. I'm not feeling confident. I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'll stop there. No, no, stop, maybe. All right, here we go. There we go. I'm feeling pretty confident now. I think I found my groove. I'm feeling, here we go, here. Okay, now I feel more confident I can perform this. It's a little bit wiggly, I'm not going to lie. But either way, challenge yourself. Have some fun. It's Turkish Get-up time, and we're going to do that for 5 minutes, going back and forth from each arm in our warm-up today. For the strength piece today, we have a classic pull and push. We are doing some kind of row and some kind of dip, depending on what you have available at home. We are going to do 5 sets today. Each set is 3 minutes long, split into 2 90-second windows of time. A familiar format now for you Zoomers. In our first 90 seconds, we're going to do some kind of pronated row. So that could mean palms down, basically palms facing away from you, which is going to have a little bit more emphasis on the lats, a little less emphasis on the biceps today. So when we're doing our pronated rows, are you using a TRX or rings? Maybe I have a barbell with some weights doing a bent over row. Maybe I'm doing some single arm rows with the kettlebell. Wherever it happens to be, we are going to do 10 reps at a 10x3 tempo, which is a very fancy way of writing that we are going to pause at the top of the concentric phase or at the pull, the top of our pull for 3 seconds. So ideally, if we can, we're trying to make those rows harder as those 5 sets go on. From there until our next 90 seconds, we are going to do some kind of dip for 10 reps. Am I doing them on 2 sturdy chairs, on the edge of my couch? Maybe I have a rig with a dip bar, that'd be nice. Whatever I'm doing, I'm I'm trying to either keep the quality there, so keep hold of those 10 reps, or if it's possible, try to make those reps a little bit harder as those sets go on. So let's take a look at some options for rows and for dips.
So we're going to get into pronated rows. You might have a setup with a rig or just have a barbell laying around. If that is the case, you're all set up, ready to go. You might have a set of rings or TRX. You might have a set of mixed matching weights, whether it's dumbbell or kettlebell. Either way, I'm going to show you an option for each one. The idea here is we're going to go for 10 reps, and we're doing a 3-second hold at the top. For the barbell, hands are about shoulder width apart, and take it out of the rack. Feet are hip width apart, setting that hinge position. So my hips go back, so I can load up the hamstrings and glutes. And from here, I drive the elbows back, engage in the lats. 1, 2, 3, and back down. 1, 2, 3, and back down. Really thinking about making that mid-back the driver as you drive the elbows close to the rib cage. If I'm using the rings, I'm going to go around to this side. Again, we want to keep the focus on the pronation. Again, engaging the lats a bit more. The one thing with the rings or the TRX, it's very easy to move into an easier movement as you fatigue. So instead of staying pronated with that pause, you start to creep into a bit more of a neutral position, or if you're feeling good, you want a little more biceps. But today, we're focusing on the lats. To make it more challenging, you're just going to get those feet a little bit closer to the wall, keeping the elbows or the palms down. 1, 2, 3, control it back down. And up. 4. The mix and match. Maybe you have a heavy kettlebell and a light dumbbell. So, you can still do 10 reps. I just might do 5 with my heavy kettlebell, my super light dumbbell, good hinge position. 1, 2, 3. Release. I can do 5 reps like that. Do a little switcheroo, as we say at 4 bells. Control the hinge. And back down. Either way, some type of pulling motion, 10 reps with that 3-second pause at the top.
Dips. Wonderful, magical dips. We love dips here at the 4 bells, but they are notoriously hard to do at home. So you've got to try and find something which has a stable base that is not going to move around on you. The last thing you want is to be in a compromised shoulder position, and then whatever you put your hands on, it's going flying around everywhere. So that's why I've got my bench here. I've got it pressed up against the post so it's not going to move. But another thing I have to think about as well when it comes to using sometimes odd objects or counters or benches when I'm at home is how much stress I can put on the shoulder as well. So if we're in the gym and we can use a dip bar over there, which we're going to talk about in a second, they are great because I can move my body in between the weight. If I'm at home with a bench or a box, my hands are already going to be in extension when I start my dip already, which is going to put more stress on the shoulders. So listen to what your shoulders tell you. If they're not happy with dips, send us a message and we will give you something else to do. So when it comes to dips, depending on where you are with your scale options, I could start with the knees bent, try and get as low as possible with that shoulder. From there, moving the feet out to get straight legs. From there, if that's easy, feet on a box. And if that's easy, maybe I can find someone to add a weight to my lap, if that's possible. If you are very lucky, or maybe you've got some very sturdy places to put your hands, you could maybe do some dips on our dip bars like we have here, if you're lucky to have those at home, or if you've maybe got 2 benches where you could do those as well. Either way, if I'm doing those, if you notice on ours, the angle points in slightly. So the reason why we like that angle that points in slightly is because the pecs are internal rotation muscles. That position of slight internal rotation really helps engage the pec. If you want to face it out, you can, but you'll find you'll put more stress on the shoulders. So again, work out what works best for you. Either way, I'm coming up, pressing up, making sure the shoulders are away from the ears. I come down, ideally below parallel, and then from there we press back up. So whatever style of dips you're doing, we are doing 10 reps today. We're either trying to increase difficulty across the 5 sets or keep the quality as beautiful as possible. Dippity-doo. The conditioning piece today is 4 little 3-minute bite-sized chunks of fitness. We are going to do some 3-minute AMRAPs, and that means, if you don't know what an AMRAP means, it means as many rounds or reps as possible. So that means I'm going to do 3 minutes of work. I'm then going to rest for 1 minute. We're going to do that 4 total times today. So what does each round look like? We are going to do some star sit-ups for 8 reps. We're going to be alternating sides for 8 total, 4 per side. From there, 8 regular push-ups. And then from there into some kneeling press where we're going to do 8 on one side and 8 on the other. So lots of upper body, lots of shoulders, lots of abs. That is the aim of the game for our conditioning piece today. How should all 3 of these look? Well, let's find out.
So we are going to do 4 3-minute AMRAPs with a 1-minute rest in between each one. To start, we're going to go with a star sit-up. It might be a new movement for you. The idea is we're going to be using our core to reach our hand across our body to the opposite leg. If you have some tight hamstrings, reaching for your toe might not be the best. So you can reach a little bit lower, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to set up in a star. Feel like a kid. Feet are out wide, arms are out wide, snow angel style. I'm going to reach my left arm up to my right toe. Back and forth like that. Like I said, you don't have the hamstring flexibility to reach up. You might reach to your mid-shin or to your knee. Either way, I want to display some control. I don't want to just kind of flop around and lift my legs up. I'm using my core to bring my chest up, bring my head up, and reach across. From here, a little break dance. I'm going to go into 8 push-ups. Fingers are spread out. Wrist is stacked underneath the elbow, elbow underneath the shoulder. Elbows are pointing back, core is nice and tight. Bring my chest all the way down to the floor and drive it up. We're trying to fight that open position, making sure that we protect the rotator cuff and get more drive through our chest and triceps. All the way down and all the way back up. And you can scale that by using a box or your couch or something like that. So you can get 8 clean reps without sagging your hips. You're then going to get into 8 and 8. Single arm overhead press. I'm in a kneeling position like this. Core is nice and tight. Drive it up, bicep close to ear. 8 on one side, 8 on the other. Switching sides, elbows in, and drive it up. When you finish those 8 and 8, you go back into the 8 star sit-ups and continue that for 3 minutes. We then get a 1-minute rest, and we'll do 3 more rounds of 3-minute AMRAPs. And that is your conditioning piece.